Yeah, they're in there, guys. They're hot. Better than last trip to Russian. There it is right there. Boom. Fish on, fish on. There it is. Woo. Oh. There it is. Come on, go in there. Go in there. There we go. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I hope you guys are having a great day. If you guys are watching this video, I'm assuming you guys are gonna go do some salmon fishing here in Alaska, Kenai, Russian River. I want to make this quick video to show you guys my setup that I use for the salmon fishing up here in Alaska. We have my vest. We have gloves. I have one glove. I usually put this glove on the hand where I'm using to do the flossing. I have my pliers. I have my stringer. My stringer is made with some typical line with a carabiner. If you guys watch my videos, you guys seen how I done it or how I string up my fish. I have polarized glasses. This is to serve two things, protection and also to help you see the fish when you're doing the it's good for Russian River, but on the Kenai you can't really see the fish because the water is kind of dirty. But wear glasses for protection in case things come back and fly at you. So we got pliers. I got my hooks. The hooks that I'm using for Kenai is the Gatsumatsu size 2. Size 2 was the one that I was using on my last video, and then I also have size 4. And I wouldn't go anything bigger than that because people think that they have to go big, but actually if you go too big, you start getting a lot of foul hooks. So I try to stay with size 4 or 2. Have a good amount of that for backup. I have swivel. It doesn't really matter what size you have. I just have a variety of swivels. So I have a bunch of these in this little pocket right here. And split shot. The split shot size that I use are a size 2. And I just started doing this, but when you have your split shot, I have a dedicated pocket for it right here. Start doing this, guys. If you guys are fishing, you guys know how it is. When you lose a split shot, you have to put it back on. I started putting all my split shot and I opened them up. So now they're all open. So whenever I'm on the river and I need to add one, I can just take one and I know that it's already open and I can just slip it on my line and then use my plier and close it down. Because when you buy them from the store, this is what they look like. They're closed up. So start doing that. Have a dedicated pocket for it and just start opening all of them up. So these two haven't been opened yet because they're like the backup of the backup. But then what I do is I usually leave my sinkers on this side along with my plier. Swivels, these I rarely ever use. The only time I use these is if my line snaps from the swivel, and that goes into this pocket. Yarn and beads. For my line that I use, I'm just using something really basic, 20-pound mono line. I was using flossing line here and there, and I like both of them. It just depends on what you like, but right now I'm using flossing. I'm flossing on mono line, and this is good. You don't need more than 30 pound. Anything above 30 pound is straight overkill unless you're fishing for king salmon. But for silvers and reds, 30 pound is all you need, guys. Don't go crazy with the line. Don't go with the most expensive one. You don't. This is like the cheapest mono line on the market. Now let's go into the secret. What do we oh, and I got my fillet knife and a fish whacker of your choice. And then of course your landing net if you guys have that. So the rod that I'm using is the Okuma. This is an 8-9 weight. It's an 8-9 weight rod, 4-piece. I like the 4-piece because it's nice and small. You can carry around. And then the reel that I'm using is the Redditon Behemoth, which is a very popular one. This is a 7-8 weight. I have backing line in there, and then I have typical mono line. This is 30 pound, I believe. So that's what I run: mono line And then the main thing is your leader. How do you set up your leader? I will show you guys my secret, or the way I do it, because I've been pretty successful with my secret, well, my way. So my leader is like this. You have your main line, goes into a swivel, and then your leader is 20 pound. This is what I have on my lead right now. I have 20 pound a leader, and this leader has to be at least 5 feet long, guys. If you guys are making your leaders, make them at least 5 feet, at least the minimum at least 4 feet, because the length does matter. The length of your leader matters because it matters how it's gonna floss. So make it 4 feet. Just start with 4 feet, and then, or here, start with 2 feet, go do some fishing, and you'll see why you're not catching anything, and then switch to 4 feet or 5 feet, and then you can see why you're starting catching it. So start with the 2 foot leader, which you're not gonna be successful, and then go ahead and switch to a 4 or 5 feet. So we have that, let's just say 5 feet leader. We have the bead, and then we have your hook. I'm not gonna debate about how you tie your hook. You can use whatever knots you want, but as long as you have this concept. Now you can run a bead or you can run a yarn. I used to run yarn, but then I found out that the yarn just takes more time to tie up, and when it gets wet, it gets in the way of everything. So I just run a bead now, which is very simple. And let's say whenever I snap my line, let's say a fish takes my leader away, or I get my line here stuck on the rocks or stubs or tree, whatever, in the river. And let's say if I do rip my leader, most of the time it's gonna rip from the leader only, and all I have to do is put on a new leader. And also the swivel, you want to stick with the Kenai River, and the Kenai Russian River I've always used 4, because that's how I use it because of the current. But this would depend on how fast your current is and what your fishing is. You always want to put your weights above the swivel, because these split shots, they tend to slide down. So if you were to put these swivels down here, it's gonna slide down after so many x of flossing, and that's gonna affect the way you catch your fish. If your weights are down here, you're not gonna catch a lot of fish. So I always put these above the swivel, because there's no way you can slide down. You can only lose these, and if you lose it, you just put on a new one. So let's say your leader breaks. I want you guys to start making pre-made leaders, and this is what I talk about. This is how you get back on the action fast, because when there's a lot of action on the river, you want to get, and let's say your hook snaps, you want to be able to get it on there fast. So let's say our leader snaps, but we still have our swivel. What I have made are pre-made leaders. So whenever I'm buying those weights, I keep the little baggies and I make the leaders. And it's super simple. You know, you have your 5 foot, and I put the bead in there, and then there's the hook in there. So what I do is I just open one of these bags, put the bag away because I reuse these. Don't throw these on the river. I just open this, and then boom, I just tie this leader right here. I just tie right there, and boom, I'm back on action. A lot of people don't do that, and what happens if you don't do that, let's say you break your leader, you have to take out your spool, you have to take out your bead, you have to take out your hook, and then you have to tie all that together. So that's like what, 4 or 5 steps, versus just taking this out, slapping it on, and then boom, you're back in action. Less than 1 minute, less than 2 minutes top. So that's how I set up. I usually have about 10 leaders made. On my one of my last trip to Russian River, my first trip to Russian River, I lost over 15 leaders because of those Russian flies. So that's how I set up that's how my game plan is. And I always carry one of these guys. I always carry this in case, let's say I do run out of leaders and it's time to take a break. I can go rest and make more leaders. Or let's say I run out of my main line, I can go ahead and fill it up. But I always carry one of these in my back pocket. And then I carry these in the back pocket as well. And then these right here are fresh hooks. Carry these as well. Put these in here in a Ziploc. Carry your fishery license. Always have that on you. Put that in a Ziploc bag or something waterproof. And you're pretty much set. So that's my setup for reds and silver. And this is the same setup for Russian River. The only difference about Russian River is that you're not allowed to use these hooks. You have to use those Russian River flies, which I'm sure you guys all know of. So it's the same setup, same weight, same line. The only thing different is that you're using those Russian River flies. So that's the difference between Russian River and Kenai River and anything else. So it's the same setup from where I go. And Hopefully this helps you guys. You can use a fly rod, you can use a spinning rod, a casting rod. It all depends on what you like. I started with this casting rod, or I started with a spinning rod, and it's just too heavy. It's heavy and it has the longer handle, which gets in your way when you're flossing. And ever since I went to a fly rod, it's just so much easier. It's lighter on your hand, you can fish longer, and when you do catch a fish, it's way more funner. So if you guys haven't tried fly rod, highly recommend it. It's super fun. And I will have a link to my rod here, and my reel. I will have an Amazon link in the video description if you guys want to check that out. But for the most part, all these little equipment, hooks, beads, you can get these at your typical local stores, Walmart, and you don't have to buy the expensive stuff. This is all really the basic stuff. You don't have to go crazy with the most expensive line. You don't have to go with the best hook. Gatsamasi, they make the hook where it's red, silver, and bronze and stuff like that. I usually just go red. The color doesn't really matter at all. And people just need to understand that these salmon, they're not eating your hook. They're just either attacking it, or when you floss it, you're basically trying to land your hook into their mouth. So this isn't your typical lake fish where you have to have the bait where they're gonna eat. That's not how it works. As long as you understand the flossing method and why this method works, you just need to make sure your rig is set up right. So this is my setup. This is what I carry. Just simple stuff. And if you guys got any questions, let me know in the comment section below. And I hope this video has been helpful. Fish on and have a good time on the river. See ya. Whenever people's getting fish downstream, it means more fish are coming upstream. So we're gonna get right there. There it is. Fish on, fish on, fish on. There it is, right there. Right in the mouth. Effortless right there. This is the 5th one.
Nice fish.
Yeah, they're nice. Look at that color. Oh, that might be a foul. Fish off, fish off. That's a big one.